Alright guys, welcome back to the hillside. Today is a public service announcement. Just be careful where you plant your pole beans because they will grow on literally everything. Don't believe me? Let me show you. Check this out. Alright, now this mass of jungle of plants here is a typical pole bean, okay? So they're not your typical bush beans you can grow in a container. These guys need to be trellised and, well, like I said, they will grow on literally everything. So if you can kind of tell on the inside here, there's what's left of a tomato stake, a wooden stake right there. And my experiment worked out pretty well, quite honestly. I had some early tomatoes that were a determinate variety, which only means that they're going to grow fast, put on one huge flush of tomatoes, and they're going to die. Okay, so I kind of timed it out that I planted the bean seeds just as the tomatoes were setting fruit. The tomatoes set fruit and started to die off. At that time, the beans were growing up, took over the trellis. The tomato vines somewhere inside there, doesn't matter, and the beans had just made themselves right at home. Now that being said, you can kind of see between the mesh here, beans will vine on everything, okay? Anything they can get their little paws onto, figuratively speaking, of course, they're gonna vine onto. This is the deer netting. You can see it kind of up close, and it vines up here around everywhere. So it will not be contained. So if you wanna grow pole beans, be prepared to, just be ready for the adventure because they're gonna grow where they wanna grow. They find stuff they can hold on to. All bets are off. Anyways, another example right here. And you can kind of tell my nice big asparagus patch right here doing quite well. I never knew that my asparagus patch would also double as a bean trellis. So that being said, check this out. Yes, these are pole beans vining onto my asparagus. So there you go. I guess nature's taking its course there. Some beautiful flowers right here. These beans are going to set fruit. I have not mentioned yet, these are called Fat Man beans. These are an old West Virginia heirloom from way back. They can either be picked fresh as at the green bean stage, or you can let them dry completely to make a nice soup bean, a nice white bean, and they get the name as Fat Man because the pods, the beans swell so much that the pod is bursting open, so it looks like a really fat pods of beans. So that's to look forward to if you're into those old-timey heirloom plants. This is definitely one that is extremely vigorous. I've had almost no pests, no bugs, no nothing really. It's just out of control. The only thing that's limiting the growth of this thing is the netting of the deer netting here at the top where it's kind of jumbled up, and you can kind of see the blue cup in there is what I kind of used to label the tomato that was on this pole, and that's gone for the count there. I'll get that someday when the beans plant finally dies. I'm not about to try to wage myself through there and risking the beans for that. But growing pole beans can be very fun. They're much more productive than your standard bush beans. You're going to get a ton of beans off this as compared to your standard bush beans. Case in point, let me kind of try to zoom you back in here to the jungle. And just this one little area, check this out. Right here, you see that? See that right there? That's just one little cluster. There are literally dozens of clusters of beans that thick, as a little grasshopper's walking in front of my picture there, but right there, check it out. See that? Look up right here. Check in there. There's some little more immature beans, little clusters. This bean is extremely prolific. I'm gonna definitely pick some of these for green beans, as maybe not as many, because this year I've had so many of my bush beans have been already frozen and canned. So I really want to grow these just as a seed crop because I was only given 5 seeds from an heirloom collector. And from these 5 seeds, I really want to try to multiply my seed collection, which will not be difficult. I mean, look, I wouldn't be exaggerating if there's not 200 pods on just this one bean plant just in general. So let me show you another example of how to expect your beans to get out of control and just what you might experience in your garden as well. Okay, so this pole bean here is not quite as contained as the last one that kind of behaved itself. This one grew up a tomato stake. You can kind of see the remnants of the dead tomato right here. And it's another experiment, it worked just fine. The tomato died, it put on its fruit, got tons of fruit off of it. Delicious heirloom called an orange peach. Definitely try that if you get a chance. It is absolutely amazing. But this plant has a mind of its own. It didn't want to be under control. Check this out. As it got taller, it said, you know what? Let's go over here. It's growing through the deer netting. It's growing up the deer netting. It's going up higher. and higher. I'm sorry the sun's going to be in the shot here, but I can't really avoid that. It comes down, and it's already ran out of space. What's it do? It's vining back down on the inside. It's just kind of hanging out in the open, and it's found itself some deer netting over here. So what's it going to do? It's just going to keep growing and growing and growing, which, you know what, is fine. I don't care. I always say if your garden's under control, then you don't have control of it. You know, plants are going to want to grow. They're going to just do what they want to do. This is what nature intended them to do. They're going to vine. They're going to grab a hold of things, and they're going to produce tons and tons of beans for you to eat, to save, to share, whatever it is you may want to do them. You can also use beans as a cover crop if you don't want to let them get to this stage, which would be kind of a waste in my opinion, but maybe if you have a ton of extra seeds you must want to kind of get rid of. You know, don't forget you can use this your home saved bean seeds as a cover crop as well. Add some of that nitrogen back to the soil, as they are legumes that will affix nitrogen to the roots. You till that back in, or just kind of turn it under, or just do no-till thing, kind of mulch it, mow it down, whatever you want to do, whatever style works for you the best, go ahead and do it. So yeah, give some pole beans a try, give some pole beans a little bit of love, and good luck for me getting these out whenever the plants finally die in wintertime, trying to get the beans separated from the deer netting, which is another necessity, because deer, I promise you, if they know there's beans, they'll tell their friends, they'll come from miles around. Your beans will be toast, okay? So that's one thing I do must warn you guys about. Beans are deer favorites, so is peas and other things like that. And that legume family, as they are very sweet, okay? A lot of sugars, natural sugars in there. So yeah, so do protect your beans. And there you go, guys, from the hillside, a little quick shot of my pole bean jungle. And like I always talk about, looking at the perspective in your garden, just kneeling down here, you get the pallet fence in the background, you got the plants kind of making the little canopy down below, get this nice jungly looking pole bean here. And that's just what I think is just so pretty. And what's so cool about gardening is being able to, you know, just be a part of nature and experiencing it all. Here's a bean right here. Check it out. Tons and tons more right in there. So I'll leave it at that, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me here at the hillside. Hope you guys enjoyed growing some pole beans. Be ready for them to get out of control. That's just what they do. If you can keep them under control with a nice little trellis, and you know, that's fine. That's what you want to do. But for me, I'm just gonna let these guys run. I'll pick the beans along the way and let the beans have their fun. Let them vine. Let them do all the hard work. I'll just sit back and pick the beans and enjoy. All right, guys, on this nice, sunny, warm August day, I'll see you guys later. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Please subscribe, give this a thumbs up, and I enjoy reading your comments if that's what you want to do. Goodbye for now.